Your favorite band's about to play a sold-out show, and you definitely got tickets. And drinks. Now hurry and make it back to your spot. Pass this person and that person, about 20 more. Ooh, watch out for feet.
Hey.
Just keep going. A little further. Oh, there's your friend.
Over here.
Right where you want to be. Close enough to see the set list. And they're definitely playing your song. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
If you look around, there are so many ways to make a difference. At Capella University, our FlexPath format gives you a different way to earn your degree. Take courses at your speed. Move on whenever you're ready. Education should fit your life. Learn more at capella.edu.
Welcome to the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast. I'm Dr. Jay Calvert. I am coming to you today with my amazing co-host, of course, Dr. Millicent Ravello. Millicent, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Bonjour.
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 To you. We are in Paris.
We are in Paris doing a live podcast of the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast at this amazing, amazing meeting called Imcas.
We are at Imcas 2022, Paris, France, after COVID.
Yes.
What could be better?
Not a whole lot, to be honest.
It's pretty good.
It's been amazing.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty amazing. So Imcas is an international meeting combining aesthetic, dermatology, and plastic surgery practices. So it is a huge international phenomenon with many, 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 many doctors, many, many industry partners, and it's just fabulous. I mean, there's no other word for it.
No, I know, and you're totally, I knew you were going to love this, by the way.
I'm loving it, yes.
Yeah, I knew you would. So the truth is that because of the combined specialty approach with plastic surgery, dermatology, facial plastics, it just makes this meeting robust, exciting, innovative, and really it's where all the cutting edge stuff is coming from.
It really is. So from the physician medicine standpoint of things, absolutely. Because at least in America, when we have our meetings, they're very specific to plastic surgeons, to facial plastic surgeons, to dermatologists, to cosmetic surgeons. It's so unique, and each little area has their specialty. And here, from a medicine standpoint, it's everyone. So you're getting a whole breadth of expertise and experience and knowledge that really is quite unique in that regard.
It is. I mean, and it's just, it's in Europe, so there's a whole different vibe to it. The willingness of people to try new things,
yes,
to get out and really be sort of facing forward the technology
Absolutely.
of the future. It's
Absolutely.
all here.
It's all here. And that goes to show with all of the industry partners that we have here. So these are the device reps. It's the new injectables. It's the new fillers. It's the new lasers. It's the new everything.
The cosmeceuticals, by the way, here are bananas.
Oh my gosh, the skincare, everything about it is just cutting edge, new technology, new information that, I mean, let's just face it, we don't have in the States. We just don't have it.
We don't.
For many reasons, I mean, that can be a whole separate podcast related to our FDA, approval process and the whole thing. But that being
There's
said,
good and bad to everything.
Good and bad to everything. The stuff that is out here is definitely new and cutting edge. And it kind of makes me a little sad walking around looking at everything. So I'm like, that's really cool. And I won't be able to ever use it.
That's awesome and too bad for us.
That sucks.
So we had a couple of sessions so far, and
Yes.
there's more to come.
Yes.
But I thought the mid-face section that we did where talked about the operation that both you and I do. Of course, it was, something that we've talked about before on the podcast.
Right. Well, yes. I'll reference my own personal podcast about having a mid-facelift. So, yes, we talked about that. That was the topic of yesterday. So you gave some lectures on that. And then we had a unique experience. We went out to the cadaver lab at the School of Surgery here in France.
Yeah, it was pretty
the school
cool.
was really great. They wheeled out some cadavers for us. The medical students had been working on them and doing some dissections as well. And so we were able to really open up the the face and show the anatomy of all these things that we talk about and that are so critical to surgery. And then the really cool thing, so going back to how this is a combined medical program here, is that the surgeons were there doing the anatomy. So we were doing the dissections and showing all of the actual anatomy. And then we had partners on the opposite side of the city doing live injections of fillers in those areas. So they were showing the participants, where the vessels are, where the nerves are on our dissections. And then the injectors were saying, well, now that we know this is how we're going to stay away from these critical areas, and this is what the anatomy means to us when we're doing the injections. So it's a really cool dynamic, again, blending surgery with the medical specialties.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, we got to, the nose and the mid-face to sort of that's kind of my spot.
That's your area.
That's my area right through here. But the nasal anatomy and looking at the vascular anatomy of the nose was really interesting. I think even from my standpoint, for us to be able to go and do a dissection is always cool.
Oh, it was typical. I learned so much.
It's true. It's like we get to learn.
You get to learn
and
all
we're
these
teaching.
things. And we're
it's
teaching,
like, check out what we saw, and you could really see that. And the safety in the in injectables. I think it's crucial.
So critical. And we've talked about this before with fillers. How they're usually well tolerated, but when things go wrong, they can go horribly wrong. And so safety in fillers is really paramount. And that's basically what this whole course was geared towards, safety and avoiding critical structures.
Yeah, I mean, and that really comes down to the vascular anatomy.
Right.
But it also, there's also nervous structures. We showed the inferior orbital foramen. We showed how the angular artery goes right up the sidewall of the nose and
right
into the orbit,
right
back through
optical nerve.
Yeah,
but then we also saw the fat pads. So this goes back to how you volume rejuvenate a face. Like, where do you put volume to make it actually work in the face and not just putting it haphazardly? So there was a lot to take home from that.
I like how they when I said, it's really dangerous to inject the nose. You got to watch out for this. And they're like, and everybody does. So why don't you tell us how to do it safely? Like, that's nice that you think it's dangerous.
Yeah. But
we
in
don't
reality,
care. We do it all the time. And so how do we do it and be safe?
Right. Just tell us what you're here to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, we all do inject the nose. Yeah. I did like that the take-home message for safety was if the nose has been operated, you don't want to inject it.
They were very clear about that, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and that's good.
Send them back to their surgeon, let them deal with that if it needs to be injected. And they're very brave. There are lots of people are out there injecting noses, even though it can have a high risk profile. But they were very clear. If it's been operated, don't touch it.
Yeah, and injecting if you inject an operated nose, you are really taking a huge risk because you don't know where the vessels really are after that scar process.
All been taken apart.
Everything's been taken apart. It's been put back together some other way. And so I think that message was
loud
really
and clear. Yep.
And I think very, very positive that that's the answer.
I agree. And then today we have some rhinoplasty sessions. So after we finish this podcast, we're going to head over to the amphitheaters and do our presentations.
Yeah, and we have you're giving 2 lectures.
I am. So you are the chair of the rhinoplasty session, so you have to go easy on me and ask me easy questions, please. I'm giving a talk on rib harvest for rhinoplasty, and then another one on dorsal augmentation after removal of an infected implant.
Yeah, and those are good topics, and it's something that we see a lot of at Roxbury Clinic and Surgery Center, but it's not something that the general populace of surgeons see. They just don't. So they're really specialty talks, which I think is cool.
Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And then tonight we have a fabulous gala to go to, which I've heard so much about so far, which I'm really looking forward to it. And then tomorrow we fly home. It's been kind of a whirlwind 4 days.
So, and now on the gala topic, you said to me yesterday that if these are the outfits that the participants are wearing to the conference, you can't even imagine what their gala outfits are going to be like.
So I'm going to go on a little detour here because I have this thing about clothes and about fashion, right? It's
your thing.
It's kind of my jam.
Totally.
And I am used to being usually one of the more overdressed people in a room or at a conference. And here I'm like, wow, I need to up my game. So this is my take home. So okay, there are two things that I noticed here. Number one, the difference between the medical professionals and the industry people, there is none here. In America, usually when you go to a meeting, you can tell who the doctors are because they're wearing their boring suits, and you can tell who the industry people are because they look amazing, and they're high heels, and they're full makeup, and they look great. Here, you can't tell. Like, everyone just looks fabulous across the board. I mean, the fashion game is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It's very
Ridiculous.
different than the U.S.
And no one is here in a boring suit. Everyone is looking just on point.
Except me.
And then I think you're doing your part.
I'm trying.
You're pulling it.
There's a little
Flavor
little
in there.
zip to this, a little bit.
And then the second thing
Hashtag
I realized.
Brie Olson. Yeah.
Second thing I realized, going home, I need to incorporate two things into my wardrobe in America. Number one, a pastel or citrus colored pantsuit. And number two, I need to up my bag and shoe game by a lot. Like, by a lot.
I've also noticed a lot of sequins, but you're not going down that road.
I'm gonna stay away from that. We went out to dinner last night. I thought I was wearing a nice dress, and then I'm looking around at just a regular restaurant, and people are in sequins. I was like, gosh darn, I didn't think to bring my sequin dress.
You got to bedazzle that stuff. That's the way this works.
But I love it. I love the looks over here.
Well, it's a great meeting. Always congratulate Benjamin Asher and his team for this unbelievable, unprecedented, really aesthetic meeting. It is really become, in my eyes, the premier aesthetic meeting in the world, and it's enormous too. They were expecting 11,000 participants. Then Sebastian Garçon, who is in charge of surgery for this meeting, said that it might be 13,000 participants. I mean, we'll get the final count, but I'm sure it's going to be in that neighborhood. It seems that way, just looking around.
It makes sense. And by comparison, the aesthetic meeting that we have in the States has
1,200?
3,000? 1,500?
Which one?
the ASAPs, the aesthetic meeting.
It's been very, very... I don't even want to venture the guess, and I'm sure they're not happy with the attendance either.
So, 1,200 versus 12,000, that's a big number.
Yeah, but that's because of the combined specialties. When you're doing a siloed meeting about, plastic surgery for plastic surgeons and got to be board certified and blah, 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 it
narrows the pool.
It narrows the pool a lot. There aren't that many plastic surgeons in the U.S. in general. But so that's why I like those meetings. Fine. They're great. They're great for what we do, and they're very specific to what we do. This is something where you can kind of get your mind open to some other ideas,
Absolutely.
Concepts that can make us better for our patients. Period. End of story.
I can't wait to see what everyone else is presenting and learn some new techniques and see what's happening out here in the world of aesthetic surgery.
And the focus on safety is really, it's very evident here. And I love that, because that's really what it needs to be. You want to first and foremost do no harm, and that message comes across here at Imcas, I think, very, very strong. Very
strongly, and in a very well-heeled and fabulous way.
Absolutely. Well, anything else, Dr. Ravello?
Nope, just looking forward to the rest of the meeting and then getting home and maybe applying some of the things we learned out here.
Well, in that case, this is the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast coming to you from the 23rd arrondissement. Is that correct? Is that where we are?
I think we're 17.
17th?
17th arrondissement.
Sounds good to me. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bonjour.
Au revoir.
Oh, shoot. Au revoir.
If you like what you heard on the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast and want to get in touch with either Dr. Ravello or myself, this is how to do it.
You can reach me at the website, ravelloplasticsurgery.com. You can reach out to the office directly through the website with any questions or consult requests, or you can call the office directly at 310-954-1355, and you can reach me on Instagram at Ravello Plastic Surgery.
And to reach me, the phone number is 310-777-8800. My website is drcalvert.com, drcalvert.com, Instagram, Dr. J. Calvert. And of course, you may want to check out our YouTube channel for the Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast, which is simply that, Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Podcast. Hope to see you all in the office very soon.
You're finally at that hot new spot, the one your friends keep raving about, sitting across from your date. It's going
Another round?
really well. And that dish you've been dying to try, oh, it's headed your way. You can smell it, hear it sizzling fresh off that skillet as it comes closer, closer, and served. Go ahead, enjoy. After your phone sneaks a bite first. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
Target has Laundry Day covered because they offer a great selection of concentrated Tide Pods to help with all your laundry needs. Tide Pods clean, freshen, and help rejuvenate your clothes with odor fighters and stain removers. Did you know Tide Pods clean better than the leading liquid bargain detergent? Tide Pods are powerful enough to make your whites white and your brights bright, even in cold water. Just toss in 1 Tide Pod for small loads, 2 for medium, 3 for large. It's that easy. For great value and convenient pickup options, get Tide Pods today at Target.